Hi, welcome to the 8th day of Unit 7. Today we are going to start reviewing for the Unit 7 quadrilateral test. My first question here says the vertices of rectangle ABCD are A is at -3, 5, B is at 3, 7, C is at 6, -2, and D is at 0, -4. What is the point of intersection of the diagonals? The first thing I should probably do is go ahead and graph my figure. ABCD, A is at -3, 5. B is at 3, 7. C is at 6, -2. And D is at 0, -4. Here is my figure. My rectangle, in fact, tells me it's a rectangle. It wants to know what is the point of the intersection of the diagonals. I know the rectangle is a parallelogram. So I know that means when I draw in my diagonals, they are going to bisect each other. So they're going to intersect at the midpoints. So when I draw them in, they're going to intersect at the midpoints, which is kind of hard. I didn't use a ruler or anything, so that may not be super accurate, right? So let's see what it really should be if I was to use a ruler. Now, if I have multiple choice and 1, 2 was a choice, I might go with that because it kind of looks like the closest. But for all I know, it might be a decimal answer. So we need to check. To find the midpoint of a segment, we average the x's, and then we average the y's. Okay, so because I know this diagonal is going to be divided exactly in half, I'm just going to find the midpoint of this segment here. So I'm going to use point A, and I'm going to use point C, and find the midpoint. Okay, so my two x's are -3 and 6, so I'm going to add those two together. And since there's two numbers and I'm averaging them together, I'm going to divide that then by 2. So -3 plus 6 is 3, and 3 divided by 2 is 1.5. So it is a decimal. Good thing I didn't just guess, right? All right, then for my y value, I'm going to do the same thing with the y's. I'm going to take the 5 and the -2. 5 and -2 divided by 2. That's also going to be, that's also the same thing. 3 divided by 2 is also 1.5. So my midpoint is actually 1.5, 1.5. So if I had used a ruler, 1.5, 1.5 would have actually been right there in the middle. I just need to use a better line drawer or ruler. This is my midpoint. 1.5, 1.5. Okay? Let's look at number 2. What are the properties of the quadrilateral graphed below? So I know it's a quadrilateral. I know it has 4 sides, right? Because it tells me it's a quadrilateral. Okay? That means the interior angle sum is 360 because it's a quadrilateral. The exterior angle sum is also 360 because all convex polygons have an exterior angle sum of 360, no matter if it's 4 sides or 15,000 sides. Doesn't matter. Okay, I went a little extreme there. All right, so now let's see what other things we can figure out. Like maybe this is a parallelogram. I don't know. Let's check and see. If it's a parallelogram, my opposite sides would be parallel. So let's check and see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Up 4 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Up 4 over 8. This line here that I'm looking at has a slope of up 4 over 8, which is a slope of 1/2. The slope across from it, let's see if it's also 1/2. So I have to go up 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's also up 4 over 8. So this slope is also 1/2. So it at least has one pair of parallel sides, so it's for sure a trapezoid, but maybe it's a parallelogram and not a trapezoid. Let's check these two sides. So if I look at these two, for my slope, it's a negative slope. I have to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, and over 1, 2. So down 4 over 2, my slope for this one, down 4 over 2 is a negative 2. So let's check what this one is. This one I have to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, and also over 2. So this one also has a slope of negative 2. So my opposite sides, another property I have here, my opposite sides are parallel. Which means I know I have a parallelogram. Haha. Do I have consecutive perpendicular sides? Do I have 90-degree angles? Well, let's look at my two sides together. One's a slope of 1/2. The other is a slope of negative 2. Are they opposite and reciprocal? They are opposites. I have a positive and I have a negative. Are they reciprocals? Is 1 over 2, when I flip it over, 2 over 1, is that the same as 2? Yes, it is. So my consecutive sides are perpendicular. Which means, if it's a parallelogram with consecutive sides that are perpendicular, I have 90-degree angles, and this is a rectangle. Okay? Some other things that I haven't written in here. I know my diagonals are equal. Right? Because it's a rectangle, not because it's a parallelogram. Okay? Since it's a parallelogram, I know my diagonals are bisected. Remember, that doesn't mean my angles are bisected here, right? It's not 45 and 45 unless it's a square. Okay? Let's see, what are some other things I know about this? My opposite sides are congruent. And I don't have to do the distance formula and find that out. Because I showed it's a parallelogram, I know my opposite sides are congruent. My opposite angles are congruent. Okay? So I've got opposite sides congruent, opposite angles congruent, consecutive sides, or sorry, angles. My consecutive sides are perpendicular. My consecutive angles are supplementary. Okay? So lots of things looking at that picture. All I did, really, was find my 4 slopes. And I was able to say all of this stuff. Just finding those 4 slopes. So kind of neat. All right, let's look at number 3. Given pentagon ABCDE and the measure of angle E equals 92 degrees, write an equation that could be used to find the other angles if I was given more information. What I'm looking for is all my variables are going to be on one side of the equals, and the constants, meaning just plain numbers without any letters, are going to be on the other. Okay? If I have a pentagon, and it doesn't tell me if it's regular, so for all I know it kind of looks like a house or whatever. It doesn't tell me what kind of pentagon it is. But I do know it's A, B, C, D, E. So when I start on one corner, and I can pick any corner to start at, and I call that A, then I have to work around the figure, either clockwise or counterclockwise. I cannot zigzag as I label it. So if I go A here, I can go B, C, D, E, around my figure. E is 92 degrees. Okay? I know this is a pentagon, which means it's going to have a sum of n minus 2 times 180. Remember, that's the number of triangles times 180. Where if I'm a pentagon, my n is 5. So 3 times 180 is 540. So my angles, all 5 angles together will make 540. So if I add together the measure of angle A plus the measure of angle B plus the measure of angle C plus the measure of angle D plus the 92 degrees, I know that's going to equal 540. 40. But if I read the directions, it does tell me it wants me to have all the variables on one side of equals and the constants on the other. So variable, 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 variable. Constant is just a number without a variable attached. So this 92, that's a constant. I need to move it to the other side of the equals. So since it's a plus 92, I'm going to subtract 92 on both sides. Okay, so I'm going to end up with the measure of angle A plus the measure of angle B plus the measure of angle C plus the measure of angle D is going to equal, I now need to figure out what is 540 minus 92. 540 minus 92 is 448. So I know this is a weird looking answer, but this is the answer. Okay? All right. Come on back, and in the next video, we will look at least 4, 5, and 6 of our quadrilateral review. Thank you so much for watching.